Our family remember all too clearly the horrific conditions in town camps before alcohol restrictions. So I could understand when my 42-year-old cousin told me on Christmas Day that she was at peace and happy to say goodbye to the world of the living. I could not be angry at her for wanting to leave us all behind. Life in her town camp had become absolutely unbearable again, with alcohol flowing back in. So when I speak to this bill, and I stand here as an Indigenous voice in Parliament, I am deeply offended when it is suggested by others in this chamber that my actions are nothing more than political grandstanding. The bill will put in place alcohol restrictions that will include declaration of alcohol-protected areas and the development of alcohol management plans, which will provide that supply of alcohol is regulated, mitigating illegal alcohol supply and providing a legal framework for prosecution. When dealing with addiction, the first step to management and recovery is acknowledging there is a problem. And those that are subject to the effects of addiction in the Northern Territory, the whole community, have been crying out that we have a problem.
The difference here, Senators, is that we've also, as members of government, had to look at this extremely closely in light of the history of the Northern Territory intervention and the sense of disempowerment that also occurred across the Northern Territory. And I do hear what my colleague's saying about those concerns around the town camps, but there are other things, Senators, you also need to know about that people had concerns about regarding that intervention. And I am such a firm believer in democracy in this country. I'm such a firm believer in the empowerment of people at every level. As flawed as we may be in our ability to make and enable others to have the power to stand up for themselves, we've got to always keep trying to get it right. And to step in over the Northern Territory Government a second time with a major intervention, not after what we've gone through. Not after what we've gone through after 15 years.
Alcohol bans will not address this. They will absolutely not address this. Too many First Nations people carry deep, unresolved and generational trauma. It's multi-layered, multi-dimensional, and it's complex in its manifestation. And alcohol is merely a coping mechanism for this trauma. It's about self-medicating. It's about coping, for which many First Nations people have turned to because they in fact have no other option. They either live remotely, they have no services or a lack of services that are available to them, and there's very long wait lists even if there is a service. And maybe, like many in this country, they simply do not have the money to see a professional to discuss what trauma is and the trauma that has been passed down to us specifically through generations since colonisation in this country. And it's the truth-telling that I spoke about in this very chamber yesterday.